Hi, this is Arthur Carmazzi coming to you from Avalon here in Bali. And this year, I do not have a New Year's message for you. I have a New Year's challenge. Okay, for those of you that have ever been to any directive communication workshop, or if you've ever experienced one of our culture change initiatives where we have changed your organizational culture, then you are aware and know the power of what I'm going to be talking about today. No blame. So, let's look at blame first. Have you ever been blamed? Okay, now I want you to think about that, and I want you to think of how it felt. Did you suddenly feel empowered to move forward and solve problems? Or were you frustrated? Were you kind of thinking of different reasons why you could justify it and, thinking poorly of the person who's blaming you and, basically reacting using the lizard part of your brain? Okay, so basically blame does not only not support solution focus, okay, it delays things, it creates bad relationships, it demolishes trust, which of course also has very negative effects on innovation, communication, and basically just doing things that you're supposed to do without asking somebody what to do. Okay, so no blame is the challenge for this year. For the next 100 days after the new year, I challenge you to not blame anyone. Now, some of you are saying, but Arthur, people need to be accountable. I know they need to be accountable, and this is why we have the alternative to blame. We have failing intelligently. Now, there are 3 factors to failing intelligently, and those factors are, the first one, basically make sure that people are aware of the consequences. They must be aware. They must know what their action or inaction is about. But you don't say, do you know why this is bad that you did this? Of course you don't want to do that because, that's kind of like blaming, isn't it? So what we want to do is we want to create an environment where we collaborate with people. Are you aware that this action or inaction that you took had these consequences, or whatever? Okay, step number 1. Step number 2, and this is the most difficult one, get them to immediately solve the problem. And you're thinking, how is that difficult? Okay, let me give you an idea. Most of the time, at least 50% of the time, this is what happens. You say, all right, now, how could you immediately solve the problem? And they look at you and they go, I don't know. And you're thinking, and you want to tell them the idea, you want to tell them, okay, this is what you do, you go and solve a problem like this. Now here's the problem with that. They're not accountable. Guess who's accountable? Who came up with the idea? You did. So, if it fails, if they didn't put in 100% effort, it's your fault because you're the one that gave them the solution. So, hello, okay? You've got to get them to do it. But if they just say, I don't know, what do you do? You acknowledge that they don't know, and you say, I understand that you don't know. But if you did know, what would you do? And they look at you and they go, what? No, I don't know. And you say, yeah, I understand that. But if you knew, what would you do? And they're kind of like freaking out. It's like they don't know how to answer that question. And so they say, but I don't know. And you say, yeah, I understand that. But if you did, what would you do? And suddenly, somehow, as if almost magic, they come out with an answer. Now, the answer may be good, or it may not be that great. But here's the thing. Now you can ask them questions. Now you can basically say, all right, if you did that, and this happened, what would you do? Or if this other thing happened, how would you approach it? And you just ask them a few coaching type questions that would support them to come up with and own the idea themselves. And that's the key. Because sometimes, when we are trying to when somebody comes up and says, hey, how would you solve this problem when you know that you just made this big mistake, our brain is kind of like stuck. And by helping them to force them to move the cogs, we're helping them to take ownership and accountability on a solution to solve the problem. Guess what? First of all, you've already trusted them, you didn't blame them, so what are they actually focused on now? Solving the problem. And you know how they're going to be doing it because they've already told you, and you're also going to ask them to give you some feedback. But wait, there's more. Because in order to properly fail intelligently, you want to solve this problem for the future as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ask them to solve this for the future. How could we prevent this from happening in the future? But this time, they're not going to tell you I don't know because they've already come up with this idea. Their brain is already moving, so they're going to give you some real potential ideas based on their unique experience of failure. Which is great, because you've just invested in this failure. If you are, working with somebody and they fail, if they make mistakes, that is an investment. It costs money to make mistakes. So therefore, when we invest in people's mistakes, we are investing in their potential to solve the problems as well. So for the next 100 days, instead of blame, you are going to fail intelligently, or you're going to basically help people to fail intelligently. And at the end of 100 days, if you manage to succeed, you are going to be able to see very visible results. But let me help you out a little bit more, because somewhere down here there is a link. And this link is going to take you to a no blame zone sign. Okay? At noblame.zone. Alright, so you go to noblame.zone, you click on the link, and you can download the No Blame Zone sign. So the No Blame Zone sign helps you to kind of explain this whole challenge and what we're doing, and you're not just going to do it for yourself, you're going to get other people in your team and even your boss to no blame and create a no blame zone for the next 100 days. See what happens to your trust, see what happens to your results, see how much less time you're going to waste and how much more productive you're going to be. And this is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success.